It's one thing for people to come and shoplift in our stores, but now they're attacking the owners and the employees personally.
At least 3 stores in Ottawa County have been targeted. Now at 10, a crime spree police say 2 women went on this week and how you can help track them down.
And we do have a frost advisory in effect for all of West Michigan tonight. I'll let you know how cold it's going to get in just a couple minutes.
It's a very important tool for the county to have.
And now they will have a hazmat team in Muskegon County for the next year. What it took to keep it afloat in the midst of some money troubles there.
And if you've ever wanted to live in a castle, well, soon you'll have your chance. How much it'll cost you to move into these royal digs here in West Michigan. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Christian Frank.
And I'm Janice Allen. News at 10 starts right now.
From the station with the most local news, Fox 17 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Off the top tonight, we've got breaking news out of Muskegon County where police say a 4-month-old was hit by a pellet from a shotgun. It happened just after 7 off East Calumet Avenue. It's in Dalton Township. Right now, the circumstances around that shooting haven't been released, but police say it happened inside a home, adding that there's some damage to some walls. We're told the baby is in stable condition tonight. We'll, of course, continue to follow this and bring you updates as they come in.
Meanwhile, another day of deliberations and still no verdict in the Sean Phillips murder trial in Mason County. Phillips is accused of killing his daughter, Catherine, better known as Baby Kate. He's already serving time for taking her back in 2011 after having a fight with Kate's mother. But her body has never been found. The judge has told the jury that Phillips cannot be convicted of first-degree murder, says there's just not enough evidence that the baby's death was premeditated. Deliberations resume tomorrow. We will be there and bring you the verdict as soon as it comes in. Police in Grand Haven teaming up with several other departments in Ottawa County after a string of credit card thefts from at least 3 separate businesses yesterday. Surveillance video shows 2 women going into the stores, one of them distracting the clerk there while the other one goes into the employee's wallet.
Fox 17's Rebecca Russell's in the newsroom tonight after speaking with store owners. And Rebecca, it sounds like these folks may have been pros.
Yeah, definitely, Christian. Police say the 2 women started out at Boar's Bootery in Grand Haven, where they took off with 4 of the owner's credit cards. They say they then went to the Second Impressions consignment shop, taking the employees 2 debit cards, and finishing at No Place Like Home in Spring Lake, taking the owner's entire wallet. It's a crime spree those businesses are still trying to come to terms with.
I went to ring it up. She handed me a credit card. The credit card was denied.
Sharon Bain at Boar's Bootery says this was just the start of events to come. She says 2 women, shown here on surveillance camera, walked into the store, tried to buy a pair of boots, then one of them asked to use their restroom. A few minutes later, she knew something was wrong.
I'm thinking, wow, this lady is really taking a long time in the bathroom, and then it was that sinking feeling like, oh my word, my purse is on the desk.
While that suspect was in the back, Sharon says the other woman pretended she didn't know her card's PIN number and said they'd need to go to an ATM to get cash to pay for the boots.
And as soon as they walked out the front door, I ran back to my desk, pulled out my wallet, opened it up, and my 4 credit cards were gone.
From there, investigators say the women headed to Second Impressions. Again, one of them getting the store clerk a loan while the other went through her wallet.
Every time I start to walk away, she'd ask me something else, and then the other lady I thought was just wandering around, and then she came back into this room, and then when they did, they left. Didn't buy anything, didn't say anything.
Diane Young eventually noticed 2 of her debit cards were missing. Later on, she noticed charges on them at a few stores in Walker.
$1,000 of merchandise had been purchased on my 2 cards within that little bit of time.
Diane says she immediately recognized the 2 women from the surveillance cameras at Boar's.
Yep, that's her. It looks like her.
I felt very violated. I really am upset today about the whole thing still.
Police say the suspects also took a clerk's wallet from a store in Spring Lake. She didn't want to talk on camera, but says her cards were also used at those same stores in Walker.
Now, that business owner at No Place Like Home, who didn't wish to be on camera, says that when she went home that day, she actually noticed that her front door was wide open and all 3 of her pets were outside on the front lawn. Now, she doesn't know if it's a coincidence, but those 2 women did make out with her entire wallet, which had her driver's license and her home address on it. She has sent that information to police. Now, at this point, police don't think the suspects are from the area, but if you have any information, you are asked to call a Silent Observer. Live in the newsroom tonight, Rebecca Russell, Fox 17 News.
All right, Rebecca, and be sure to get that on the web so people can get another look at the suspects there. Well, meanwhile, police in East Grand Rapids are reminding people to lock their doors tonight after several cars and garages have been broken into over the past few weeks. In most cases, well, the vehicles were actually stolen. Investigators say the doors were unlocked and the keys were left inside, and that they each happened around midnight. Police think they could be related. Our fall-like day leading to a downright chilly night. Some temperatures dipping down all the way into the 30s. So how low could it go?
Let's find out. Joe's in the Weather Center now with the first look at the forecast. We talking about a frost tomorrow morning, Joe?
Yeah, definitely, Janice. In fact, some areas could drop down into the upper 20s by tomorrow morning. I think we'll stop in the low to mid 30s here in the Grand Rapids area, but by far the coolest that we have had so far this season. Check out where we are at 10 o'clock. It's already down to 37 at Fremont, 39 at Big Rapids. We're 44 here in Grand Rapids, 42 at Kalamazoo, and we should drop about another 8 to 10 degrees for overnight lows for tonight. That's why there is a frost advisory in effect for all of West Michigan. It goes through about 10 to 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. By that time, the sun comes up, will warm things up, and things should be just fine. But we've got a cool night tonight. If you've got plants, you want to bring them indoors or cover them up if you want to save them, because it's going to be a chilly one. In terms of satellite picture, radar, not much to show you. There are a few clouds just north of Grand Rapids, and they've been kind of hanging on. If they do so, that would keep it a little bit warmer up there, but I still think for the most part those clouds will break up, and we're going to be looking at mainly clear skies as we go through the remainder of tonight. Forecast lows down into the low 30s, low to mid 30s, except along the lakeshore. Lake Michigan water temperatures still in the 60s, so I think that will keep you in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. Tomorrow, lots of sun in the afternoon, 62, 72 on Saturday. We'll start with sun early, clouds roll in late in the day. It'll be breezy, and then some showers coming in Saturday night and Sunday. Warm temperatures on the 7-day. I'll show you that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Christian.
Thanks, Joe. Well, whether it's chemical spills or responding to meth labs, the hazmat team is usually who they call for help. But in Muskegon, it was nearly disbanded.
And tonight, Fox 17's Michael Dupre is live in studio with the solution that commissioners came up with to keep it afloat, at least for the time being. This is an important service here, Michael.
It really is, because it's one of those things that you hope you never need, but you're glad it's there when you do. Now, Christian, Janice, Muskegon currently provides hazmat support to 13 other counties. Now, if that team had been disbanded, Muskegon would have to rely on other counties to respond to hazmat calls. Right now, the county funds part of the hazmat budget, with the rest coming from federal grants. It costs $80,000 a year to fund their program, and up until a couple weeks ago, they were short $45 grand.
When the call comes in, the hazmat team responds. Driving into an unknown hazardous situation carries a lot of dangers, so they need the right gear.
This hose would be used to pump off diesel fuel or whatever type of hazardous product. This is our analytical department. I guess you could say this is the bread and butter here.
This detector cost $72,000, but they say it's an invaluable tool for chemical analysis.
It's the same technology that the TSA uses at the airports, and this can identify unknowns, solids, liquids, and gels.
This is the suit they wear when approaching a highly toxic spill. This hazmat truck is a big rolling toolbox.
So it's a very important tool for the county to have.
A vital instrument that almost lost its funding when Muskegon County had budget problems.
Found that they were in a pretty bad deficit there, and they were looking at cutting programs instead of cutting personnel.
Commissioners realized the need for hazmat was too great to get rid of.
We decided to reinstate the money that was set aside for the Muskegon County hazmat team.
And they did it with a majority of commissioners donating their pay raises.
Commissioner Nash, our Ways and Means Committee Chair, brought it to our attention that he would like to see us forego that 1% increase and apply that towards the hazmat funding.
All an effort to make sure the hazmat team can be there in case the call comes in.
I see the need to have the hazmat team in place because it really means so much, not only to our public safety here for our residents of Muskegon County, but also to the environment as well.
The hazmat has life support to keep it going through the next year, but the future after that is uncertain. Commissioner Sabo says funding for the hazmat team needs to be made for the next budget. They're hoping to do that through other municipalities or private chemical companies in the area. And, you know, one of those services that are just so vitally important when the situation does arise that you need a hazmat crew.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their firefighters already have these positions, then they just, what they're talking about is the readiness to keep this program going so that the equipment's there for them and they can respond immediately.
Right. It's not a question about the personnel. It's just the program. The county was in a big budget deficit, so they were just throwing lots of things on the chopping block, seeing if they could get rid of the hazmat crew, but decided, you know, this is way too important. We need these guys. And how about the commissioners giving up their 1% pay raise to make sure that that program keeps afloat?
Absolutely, because when every second counts in a situation like that, you don't want to have to rely on another county to have their hazmat team come on in. Michael, thanks for that story tonight.
These events never, ever happened, and the people that said them meekly fully understand. You take a look at these people, you study these people, and you'll understand also.
Have you been watching this? Donald Trump going nuclear in his call to arms to his supporters today as he battles his own political survival there amid growing allegations of sexual misconduct. At a rally in Florida, he accused the press, the political establishment, the international banks, the Justice Department, and Hillary Clinton's campaign of conspiring against him and the American people. Trump calls the 5 new claims that he grabbed or kissed women pure fiction and outright lies, threatening the New York Times with a lawsuit. Today, the newspaper replied saying they'd welcome the opportunity to face him in court. Meanwhile, First Lady Michelle Obama, who's becoming Hillary Clinton's favorite surrogate, getting personal as she criticized Donald Trump in New Hampshire today. She told the crowd his alleged behavior is an affront to basic human decency, saying enough is enough. This isn't just another disturbing footnote in a sad election season.
This was not just a lewd conversation. This wasn't just locker room banter. This was a powerful individual speaking freely and openly about sexually predatory behavior and actually bragging about kissing and groping women, using language so obscene that many of us were worried about our children hearing it when we turn on the TV.
Mrs. Obama finished by saying if you vote for somebody other than Hillary, you are helping to elect her opponent. Secretary Clinton praised the First Lady's support during the campaign event in San Francisco today. Well, just weeks away from the election now. The former First Lady has mounting problems of her own related to that private email server. Today, her lawyers answered a series of written questions from the conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch. It's part of that ongoing lawsuit we've been telling you about. In the written answers, Clinton maintained that she used the private server for convenience and believed her emails to State Department officials were being archived because they were sent to government accounts, and that she didn't really think about how the email received or sent to private email accounts would be archived or searched in the event of a Freedom of Information request. We'll continue to follow this lawsuit.
If you're hoping to get some fried chicken before heading to a movie at Knapp's Corner in Grand Rapids, you're going to have to change your plans or at least get that chicken somewhere else. That's because the City Planning Commission has nixed the idea of a Chick-fil-A being built there. Developers had been eyeing the old Fajita Republic restaurant for the site, but apparently the drive-through was the deal breaker. It's not allowed there because of zoning issues that need special approval. Chick-fil-A has more than 2,000 locations across the country, including a few here in Michigan. That includes 2 currently under construction, one in Gaines Township and one in Wyoming near 54th Street and 131. Expansion plans are really taking off at the Ford Airport in Grand Rapids. Today they announced a $1 million upgrade to the viewing area. That means double the seating with both picnic tables and benches, a new pavilion, even double the parking. The viewing area is located off of Craft Avenue. It's a spot where people can hang out and watch the plans as they come and go. Those at the airport say this upgrade will really add to the whole experience, bringing families together. That project's set to begin later this month and then wrap up in May.
Well, it feels pretty good out there, but while the above average temperatures might be nice for us, they're causing some issues for local crops.
Still ahead, a local farmer is explaining why he's hoping for some cooler weather.
It's posing a little bit of trouble for getting color on the cranberries. The crop is there, but we're just waiting on it.
We'll take you to the berry bog coming up after the break.
Ever want to be the king of the castle? Well, a new apartment complex in Granville will soon make that a reality. We'll take you inside for a preview.
And a man accused of raping 34 women in court today. The testimony from one of his alleged victims explaining about how a conversation with God stopped him in his tracks.
You're watching Fox 17 News.